This is ChestertonRadio.com.
And here's the cinnamon bell.
Let's see what's happened to Judy and Jimmy and their friends, the Cinnamon Bear and the Crazy Quilt Dragon. After they got Patio Cinnamon out of the wishing well, they tried to get out of the wishing woods, but they were stopped by a great river of mud and attacked by muddlers, huge, ugly creatures made entirely of mud. In spite of everything our friends could do, the muddlers shoved them into the black, oozy mud. They climbed frantically onto Crazy Quilt's back, and he tried to swim, but couldn't. And right now, they're sinking deeper and deeper and deeper.
Oh, agony. Mud to the left of us, mud to the right of us. Oh, I'm afraid it's all over with us.
Gee, if we weren't on Crazy Quilt's back, the mud would be way over our heads.
Try a little mudding through to the other side, Crazy Quilt. If we stay here much longer, we're sunk.
Please, Crazy Quilt, try again, please.
Oh, it's no use. Every time I move a leg, I sink in deeper.
Jimmy, hold the handkerchief with the silver star pieces high over your head.
All right, Judy, but I don't see what good it'll do now.
Can't hold on much longer. I'm going.
We're sunk. We're sunk.
Wait, somebody's coming.
Can you see who it is, Jimmy? I got mud in my eyes.
Why, it looks like Cowboys. Hooray, we're saved.
Yo-ho, Cowboys. Over this way, over here.
Take it easy, strangers. We're coming. All right, boys, throw 'em some ropes. I'll take the children. You lasso the bear, Lefty. Right, and Hank, you and Gus better snag that dragon or whatever it is. You got 'em, boys?
You bet.
Okay, hang on tight, strangers. Here you go.
Out there.
Oh, boy, am I glad to be out of that mess.
How's that dragon critter coming along?
Right now. Words cannot begin to express my gratitude.
Oh, you Cowboys just got here in the nick of time, all right. Just like in the movies.
We don't know our noble rescuers' names.
Slim's my name, partner. Slim Pickens.
Mr. Slim Pickens, I thank you in behalf of our little party. I shall speak to the proper authorities about a medal. Oh, yes, indeed. And I shall... Oh, tragedy. Look at me. I'm smeared with mud from my Crazy Quilt head to my Crazy Quilt tail.
Me too. My beautiful fur is ruined.
Well, don't worry, strangers. Won't be a minute before that's gone.
What do you mean?
Oh, my goodness. All that mud's dropped right off.
Gee, the Crazy Quilt Dragon looks like he'd just been dry cleaned.
Why, for pity's sakes, what's this?
It's magic. That's what it is.
That's right, partner. Soon as you step on this side, the mud just vamooses.
Oh, my goodness. Such a relief. Why, look, everybody. How beautiful it is here. All purple. It didn't look like there was anything like this when we were over on the other side.
Yes, miss. This here's the purple plain. You can't see it from t'other side the mud pond, 'cause those muddler varmints don't like purty colors at all. And they just naturally likes to hide it from everybody. Well, those pesky mavericks are the orneriest bunch of creation. I guess they had it in for your dragon partner here in account he's such a fancy-dressed hombre.
Look, Judy, they're all riding big black beetles instead of horses. Say, are you regular Cowboy Slim?
Well, Sonny, I reckon we are.
A little bit different, but still cowboys.
That's right, Lefty. Oh, hi, Glowworm Gus.
Yo.
Start up a song. Let 'em know who we are, huh? Come on, sing.
You've read about cowboys of every description. You've read about lonesome, a foot or a straddle, yippee-i-okay. With a Cocklebur cowboy, stand up in your stirrups and take a big bow, boys. Each evening at sundown we round up the glowworms to light up the streets and the houses at night. The glowworms eat sunflower seeds in the daytime, which makes them especially brilliant and bright. Yippee-i-okay, get along, little glowworm. You've got to get going and not be such slow ones. Yippee-i-okay, take a leg now and get up, or the little toy town will never get lit up.
Gee, are these your own glowworms?
No, Sonny.
We keep 'em for Melissa.
Melissa. Do you know Melissa?
Well, we sure do, don't we, boys? Who's the prettiest little boss in this neck of the woods? Melissa!
I heartily concur with your opinion regarding our beloved ruler.
What does he mean, Patio Cinnamon?
He mean he thinks so, too.
Well, we sure would like to see Melissa again.
Well, what's your trouble, little miss?
We went to see her about getting our beautiful silver star fixed, and she told us what to do.
To wish it back together again at a wishing well.
But our fuzzy friend here unfortunately spoiled our plans by falling into the wishing well, so they had to use up the wish to get him out.
And if we could see Melissa again, we thought maybe she'd tell us something else to do.
Yes, we just got to get our silver star fixed.
'Cause it belongs on top of our Christmas tree, and it just won't be Christmas without it.
Well, now, I'm sure sorry to hear about all the trouble you folks has had. But maybe you won't have to go all the way back to see Melissa.
What do you mean, my friend?
Well, now, I'll just show you. Hey, Lefty, you got your looking glass with you?
Nope, Slim. Left it in the bunkhouse.
Oh, shucks. No wonder we call you Lefty. Always leaving things behind when they're needed.
I've got a little looking glass.
You have? Well, that's right nice. Now, if you'll just let me have it a bit, it'll show you a trick. Now, first, I take my hat.
I bet he's just like that Mr. Presto the magician.
Well, don't know the party you mentioned, but here's the idea. Now, if you put this looking glass inside my 10-gallon hat, pretty soon you can see Melissa and talk to her.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Slim.
You better do the talking, Judy.
All right. Here's the looking glass.
All
Mrs.
right,
Slim.
now put it down here in my 10-gallon hat. That's it. Now, you just think real hard that you want to see Melissa.
I'm thinking ever so hard. I see her. I see her in the looking glass. Oh, Melissa, we've had such a time. She doesn't answer me.
Well, you can't hear her say anything, little miss, but she can hear you. Now, you go along and tell her your trouble.
All right. Melissa, dear, we did just what you told us and went to the wishing well. But poor Patio Cinnamon fell in when he was looking down inside it. And we had to use up the only wish we could have to get him out. So we couldn't wish our star back together again. Would you please tell us what we can do now to get it mended? She's smiling.
She heard you all right, little miss.
Oh, she's writing something on a piece of paper. Now she's holding it up for me to see. Underneath the singing tree, another clue you're sure to see. Oh, now she's gone.
I wonder what she's talking about. Underneath the singing tree. It's just like a treasure hunt. You go one place to find out another place to go.
Well, Melissa knows what she's talking about, so you better do as she says.
What is the singing tree? Do you know, Mr. Slim?
Well, it seems to me I have.
I've heard tell about it. Supposed to be in the Golden Grove.
Where's that?
Well, that's straight across the Purple Plain.
If you look real hard, you can see it glistening over yonder, way over.
I see it, a regular
So
sparkle.
do I, distinctly.
Well, we're mighty sorry we can't take you clear across the Purple Plain, but we got a job to do, you know. I gotta round up them glowworms.
Well,
But that's
goodbye,
nice.
Sure,
Henry.
nice of you to
All right.
help us.
Well, come on, boys. I gotta get moving.
fine with you.
So long, partners, and I hope you get your star right pronto. All right, boys, let's ride.
Yippee, look at them ride. What a sight. My. They may be a bit wild and woolish, but I like them. Definitely.
So do I. I don't know what would have happened to us if they hadn't turned up.
Well, come on. We've got a long way to go. Let's get started.
Yes, let's not waste any time.
I wonder how we'll know the singing tree.
Oh, you'll know all right. Melissa wouldn't tell you unless she was sure you'd find out.
I suppose you're right. What was that?
Jiminy Crickets, look! Over there behind that bunch of purple cactus.
Wow, it's an Indian.
Run for your lives. The whole tribe will be after us.
Faster, faster!
How many are there, Jimmy?
I don't know. Sounds like 100 of them.
Oh, my cinnamon scalp, help! Help!
Indians, that's bad, very bad. In Maybeland, you never can tell what will happen next, but Indians it is. And next time we'll find out just what will happen to Judy and Jimmy and their friends.
For almost 2 centuries, Americans have enjoyed the valuable privileges of freedom. Now, freedom needs each American to dedicate himself to its preservation. We must not allow our liberties to be endangered by neglect of our duties as citizens. During this year of rededication, join with your fellow Americans in reaffirming the principles on which this country is founded and the safeguarding of those principles. Make it your business to see that federal, state, and local governments are conducted honestly. Help to maintain the good morale of your sons and daughters in the armed forces. Learn the facts about all candidates and issues. Then vote for the one you believe in. Make the most of every minute on your job. Produce as much as you can, and thus increase our military and economic strength. Work for better schools and a better community. Guard your American heritage of freedom. It needs you.
This is Chesterton Radio, the true, good, and beautiful at chestertonradio.com.
Vicks presents the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory. Vicks, the makers of Vicks Vapor Rub, Vicks Vatronol, Vicks Cough Drops, and Vicks Inhaler, brings you the Matinee Theater, starring Victor Jory in a most unusual Christmas play, A Stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. First, here's a good thing to remember when you catch a cold. The best-known remedy for relieving miseries of colds is Vicks Vapor Rub.
Ladies and gentlemen, today from the stage of the Matinee Theater, Vicks invites you to enjoy a modern miracle play. A different kind of Christmas story with a special meaning for all of us. A Stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It's Christmas Eve, and behind the window of an exclusive Fifth Avenue club, 2 elderly men look out on the world with jaundiced eyes. In the sumptuous lounge of the club, there are only these 2 tonight, trying to conceal their loneliness at this festive time with bickering and cynicism.
Oh, these chimes. I suppose we'll have to listen to those chimes all evening, Gordon.
Yes, Christmas. The commercialism and hypocrisy of the whole thing turns my stomach, Townsend.
Oh, that's something we agree on.
It's all so obvious. Think of all those millions of people out there wrapping presents. Why? Only because they feel obligated. Or they're trying to bribe somebody.
Take you all these years to learn that?
And these Christmas cards. Nothing but assembly line sentiment. People buy a card, put it in an envelope, stick a stamp on it, and send it off saying, there, thank the Lord, he's taken care of. Christmas cards are a system whereby people remember to forget you. Greetings of the season.
Yes. And when they get through sweeping out the tinsel and adding up their bills, they'll be back at each other's throats again.
Look at these hollyhoods in the window. That Christmas tree with all its baubles. By George, I'm going to complain to the board of directors about this. Just needless expense. But I suppose I won't get anywhere. They're the prize collection of nitwits, our board of directors.
No. Wait a minute, Gordon. Wait a minute. I resent that. I happen to be a member of that board.
I apologize. I should have said they're all nitwits but one.
Oh, thank you.
And that one's a fool.
Huh? Now, look here, Gordon.
All right. You know, Townsend, I'll make you a wager.
What's that?
I'll bet not 1 in 50 people down there in the street knows the story of Christmas, of Bethlehem, the shepherd.
Oh, they know the story, all right. The strange thing about it is that they believe it.
You're right. The miracle of Bethlehem is a myth.
Are you sure of that, sir?
Huh? What's that?
Who are you?
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I see. A substitute, eh? I suppose because some of the staff are home trimming their Christmas trees, celebrating. We don't matter, of course. We just pay our dues.
I'm here to serve you, gentlemen.
And probably getting time and a half because it's Christmas Eve. Well, we want 2 hot toddies. That's the only real thing about Christmas, the club's toddies.
Yes, sir.
And hot means hot, not lukewarm.
Wait. Tell me something.
Yes, sir.
What did you mean just a moment ago when you said to me, are you sure of that?
Well, sir, you said the story of Christmas, of Bethlehem, and the shepherds was a myth.
Yes, I said that. What about it?
I'm sorry, sir. I must disagree with you.
What do you mean by that?
Well, sir, you see, the story of Christmas is true. I know that for a fact. It happened again only a year ago.
Oh, stop talking in circles, man. Explain yourself. Just what are you driving at?
The eternal story of Christmas, sir. It happened to real people. I heard about it from someone I know.
Heard about it? From whom?
Well, let's say he was a friend. He drove a truck carrying freight from here to Pittsburgh. 2 or 3 of them traveled together, as you might say, in caravans.
An ingenious beginning. Caravans of trucks, is it? Like camels in biblical days, eh?
You might say so.
All right. Go on with your story.
It was last Christmas Eve, just a year ago tonight, gentlemen. This friend of mine, his name is Michael, was driving through Jersey on the way to Pittsburgh, and this night he was alone on the road. The other drivers were home with their families. As he passed through towns along the way, he saw the houses and churches lighted up, and his heart was heavy with loneliness. Suddenly, snow began to fall so thickly that he could hardly see anything ahead of him. Mike drove along slowly, feeling his way. And all at once, the figure of a man loomed up in the flood of his headlights, stood there, motionless in the middle of the road. Mike had to slam on his brakes so that he wouldn't run over him.
Hey, now, for the love of Mike, man, what do you mean stand in the road like that? You could have got yourself rolled flatter than a pancake. Are you crazy?
I'm sorry, mister, but I had to stop you.
Yeah? A soldier, huh? Well, what's the idea? What do you want?
Are you heading west?
Sure, that's my general direction. Why?
Well, could you give us a lift? Just a little way even into some town, maybe?
Us?
Yeah, me and my wife.
Your wife? What are you talking about, soldier?
I left her back at a big sign over there while I tried to stop you.
Back of the sign? Hey, what in...
Look, it kind of protects it from the wind. We've got to get into some town quick, mister.
Yes, you said that before. But what are you two doing out in a night like this?
Well, you see, we're in a little tourist camp down the road, and there was no chance of getting a doctor there, so we thought we could pick up a ride. Look, mister, my wife's going to have a baby.
Well, for the love of... Why didn't you say so in the first place? What do you use your brains for anyway, fella?
Well, I...
Yes, well, don't you know they've got to be kept warm? Now go and get her.
Oh, thanks. I'll only be a minute. Mary,
you run up against on the road. A fine thing. Me, a delivery boy for the store. I must have seen that sign 100 times. Golden Rule Department Store. Our slogan is, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. Well, they couldn't have picked a better sign. Look, Bud. Hurry up.
Oh, we're ready, mister.
Okay. Get in. Gosh, lady, you look half frozen.
I am kind of cold.
Well, when I shut the door, the engine will warm you up. Now, don't be afraid of crowding me. The seat's plenty wide for the... All set?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll find some place in the road and stop for some hot coffee. That'll thaw you out, ma'am.
I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't stopped for Joe.
It's going to be all right now, Mary, honey. He understands.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Joe. Me being a bachelor. But like my mother used to put it, bless her soul, babies manage somehow to make their way into the world.
Yeah. How far is it to the next town? Can't we go a little faster?
No, Bud, you can't make time in the snow.
Oh, don't worry, Joe. I'm all right, honest I am.
Where are you bound for, son?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Boy, you've got a long way to go.
Yeah. But you see, that's where Mary was born.
I see.
Her folks still live there. She wanted to be there when we had our baby.
Oh.
There isn't much time left on my furlough, but I thought maybe we could make it. At least I'd know I was leaving her in good hands.
Oh, everything will be fine, Joe. You'll see. Just keep your arm around me. Hold me closer.
Say, there's a blanket in back there. I'll put it around her, Joe.
Oh, thanks.
Boy, oh boy, this is a funny Christmas Eve for me to be spending Mike Riley with a family on his hands. But don't think you're going to get away without paying me for the trip, folks.
Oh, paying you?
Sure. If the little one happens to be a boy, ma'am, you can pay me by making one of his names Michael.
Oh, I think that could be arranged.
Well, we're all of one mind then, are we? Fine. And back home, I've got the christening present all ready for the child. The self-same crib in which I was nursed and my father before me. Come all the way from Ireland, it did.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. Joe was going to make a crib all by himself.
Oh?
You see, he was a carpenter before he went in the army. The best carpenter you ever saw.
No, honey, I wasn't that good.
Never try to argue with a woman, Joe. What about that crib I'm going to give you? Now that's something for a baby to stretch himself in, with plenty of rooms to kick his legs in the air. Hand-carved it is. All of it. And right at the head are two angels. The little fella can't open his eyes without seeing them. And this fine crib with all the trimmings is yours, ma'am.
Oh, we'd feel very proud to have you as a godfather, Mike.
Thank you.
You don't mind if I call you Mike?
Mike it is, ma'am. The only time I get Michael is when I see it on my pay envelope.
Yeah, I'm always Joe. Last man to call me Joseph was the minister who married us. Remember, honey?
Yes, he was so nice.
He said, Joseph, do you take this woman? And Mary, do you take this man? Gee, my knees were so wobbly I could hardly stand.
Yeah, I remember how funny you look.
What's your son?
Oh, what's the matter, honey?
Oh, nothing. I just feel a little sick.
Mike, we've got to get her to a doctor.
Oh.
What can we do?
Well, we're going as fast as we can. If we're going any faster, we'll end up in the ditch. We're going to do our best, soldier. And that's about all we can do.
Well, what's the rest of your story? Why did you stop?
I just thought you might want your hot toddies, sir.
Well, never mind the tutties. You go on.
Yes, go on, Joseph. Joseph, the carpenter, and his wife, Mary. I must admit the first part of your story has a very ingenious parallel. But where do we go from here?
Well, the storm got worse and worse. And the truck staggered on through the blizzard. It was a night that never seemed to end. Joe and Mary held on to each other desperately, like two frightened children. Mike was groping for words to help them. It wasn't easy. Come out of it, you two, now, will you? Come out of it now. No matter what happens, you have each other. Think of me riding up and down this road day in and day out. You don't know what it means not to have someone you can put your arms around and love.
Oh, I know, Mike, but Mary's hardly more than a kid. And we've had so little time together. Why, we haven't even got a...
You don't know what you've got, son. You don't know what you've got compared to lots of other people.
He's right, Joe. So right. Please, listen to him.
Now, you take a fellow like me, Mary. I go along the road passing by houses with all the lights shining out at me and the kids laughing and dogs barking and people safe inside their houses. And it gives me an emptiness in my stomach. Because, you see, me and my truck, we could disappear into the darkness of the night and no one would care one way or the other. You know what I mean? We come into this world lonesome, and it's a wonderful thing when you can find someone to share it with you and fill all that emptiness.
Oh, what are you slowing down for, Mike? You stopping?
Yeah, and not because we want to.
What is it, Mike?
I'm afraid the radiator's frozen up.
Gosh, it stopped.
You're telling me.
Mike, we got to think of something. Mary's feeling awful bad.
And now keep your shirt on, son.
We can't stay here in the middle of the road.
No, we can't. Here, Joe, take this flashlight. Open the door.
All right.
What does that sign say on the other side of the road there? There. Can you see?
Yeah.
There?
1 mile to Bethlehem.
1 mile to Bethlehem. Why, I know where we are. You're going to be okay, Mary, okay.
A mile. Might as well be 1,000 miles right now.
Not as bad as that, Joe. There's an old guy lives down the road a little way. It isn't much of a place. It used to be a livery stable. And when horses went out of style, the old bird stuck a couple of gas pumps out in front.
Yeah, but do you think he'll help us out?
Sure, he'll help us. I buy gas from him, I do all the while. He's one of those Pennsylvania Dutchmen. Folks call him Papa Bauer. Come on, Mary. Put your arms around my neck and I'll carry you.
I'm sorry to be so much trouble, Mike.
Trouble? Think nothing of it, kid. Take the flashlight, Joe.
Yeah, all right.
You're just a little wee bit of a girl, Mary. I can hardly feel you in my arms.
You feel all right, honey?
Of course. I know we're safe now, dear.
The snow's getting deeper. Better stay here in the middle of the road, Mike.
We'll be there in a minute.
Let me hold your hand, Joe.
Oh, sure, honey, sure.
I'm scared. I'm scared, Joe.
Hold on to her hand tight, Joe. That's what she wants more than anything else.
I'm all right. I've got to be all right.
Gotta hurry, Mike. Where is this place? I can't see anything but snow.
We'll get there, Joe. We've just got to keep going, too. Keep going. It's not far now. Well, look, there it is.
Where?
There. I knew it was around here. Take Mary, Joe. Let's see if I can wake up the old man. Come on, Bauer, open up the door.
I suppose he isn't home.
He's got to be home. Bauer, wake up.
Who this? What you want?
Open your house. Open the door. Mike Riley. Come on downstairs. Make it snappy.
Mike Riley?
Yeah, and I got trouble on my hands. I've got to use your telephone. I need some hot water for my truck. It throws up down the road.
I'll be right down, Mike. Just a chance to get me to get in my pants.
Okay. We'll be inside in a minute, Mary. How are you feeling?
Oh, fine, Mike. If you could only make Joe believe it.
Don't be about him. He believes it, don't you, Joe?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
You've got to forgive him, Mary. He can't help acting like a father.
Yeah, that's right, honey. That's all. Mary. Mike, he's fainted. Mary!
Well, they waited a few minutes. Joe and Mike and Mary. Minutes that seemed like hours. Papa Bauer finally came down and let them in. And there they were, Mary and Joseph and Mike Riley, in a stable near Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
That's pretty good. Mary and Joseph and Mike Riley. Yeah, but what about the shepherds and the wise men?
Oh, they came. And there was a star, too.
Oh, come now.
Would you like me to finish, John?
By all means. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
No, right. Go on.
Well, Mike and Papa Bauer started calling up doctors for Mary. But it was Christmas Eve. It didn't seem any of them were at home. They must have tried about 20 doctors, going right down the list. But all they got were maids who said they'd try and find Dr. So-and-so and tell him about it. They were getting desperate. Mary and Joe were upstairs in Papa Bauer's room, and they all knew Mary's baby would be born soon. This one's out, too.
My.
What do you have to do to get a doctor around here, anyway?
Well, Mike, it's, Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, look, you keep on the phone, Bauer. I'm going upstairs. Let me know if you have any luck.
I keep my drum.
How is she, Joe?
Oh, I don't know. Did you get a doctor?
The old man's still on the phone.
You mean you can't find a doctor? Oh, Mike, it's not fair. You can't expect her to have a baby in a stable with no one to help her.
Don't worry, Joe. Please, darling.
Don't worry. It's all right to say, but we're only kidding ourselves.
Now, wait a minute, kid. Don't make it any worse for her.
May I have some water?
Sure, Mary, all the water you want.
Here you are, honey.
Thank you, dear.
Now, you just sit down, Joe. No, right here on the bed. Listen, Joe. You said something about a woman having a baby all by herself in a stable. Well, I'm not exactly a religious guy, but I can remember my grandfather telling me a story I never forgot.
Oh, Mike, this is no time for stories.
It's always time for this story, Joe. I can still see the old boy's gentle smile as he told it to me. It went something like this. The birth of young Jesus, he'd say, was a miraculous thing. It happened in those days that Joseph came to Bethlehem with his wife Mary, who was great with child. There was no room at the inn for them, nor accommodations. But there in a stable, she brought forth her firstborn child, a son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes. And because she didn't have a crib, she put him in a manger. Now, in that part of the country near Bethlehem, in the Holy Land, there were some shepherds keeping watch over their flocks by night. And what do you suppose happened? An angel of the Lord came down to them. The glory of the Lord shone all around them. They were pretty scared, these shepherds. But the angel said to them, you don't have to be afraid. I'm bringing you tidings of great joy, which shall belong to all people. Right now, in the city of Bethlehem, a child is born. He's the Savior of all men, and you'll find him lying in a manger. And suddenly, with the angel was a heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory be to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
It's beautiful, Mike.
I only wish I could have told it to you like my grandfather did.
Mike, come a minute down.
Well, I guess maybe Bauer caught up with the doctor.
Oh, I hope so.
I'll be right back. What is it, Bauer? Did you find the doctor?
No, but listen.
Listen?
Do you hear?
Do I? Wait a minute. That's police sirens.
I wonder what is the trouble here.
I don't know. Hey, they're coming here.
Is he coming?
Maybe now we can get some help. Don't you see? Maybe they can round up a doc or take Mary to a hospital.
All right, you guys, come on, stick 'em up.
It's okay, Chief. I got him covered.
What goes on here? Are you coppers nuts or something?
Yeah, what do you want?
You'll find out.
Keep reaching for the ceiling.
Now, wait a minute, you guys, and keep quiet, will you? There's somebody upstairs who needs a doctor and needs him back.
We know all about it. We brought a doctor along.
Did you hear that, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Henshaw. I'll keep these two guys covered. You upstairs. You too, Wilson. And be careful. They may be desperate.
Okay, come on, Doc.
Say, Chief, what's the big idea?
You phoned for a doctor, didn't you?
Sure, but we didn't hope for this kind of service.
I am a quiet, law-abiding man. Everybody knows Papa Bauer.
Never mind. Stand up against the wall, you two. What's your name?
Mike Riley.
I suppose you don't know anything about the stick-up at the country club tonight.
Stick-up? Oh, listen, Chief, I'm a truck driver on my way to Pittsburgh.
Now I'll tell one.
Well, it's true. But truck's parked just up the road with a frozen radiator.
Hey, Swenson, go see if there's a truck around here.
Yeah, Chief.
What I can't understand is who sent you here.
Yeah, all we did was phone for a doctor.
And that's where you made your mistake.
Huh?
One of the doctors you phoned was Dr. Henshaw, the one upstairs. He's a member of the Bethlehem Vigilance Committee.
The which?
You heard me. A group of professional businessmen who make it a point to suppress crime.
And what's the criminal about what's happening here?
Quiet. 3 members of the committee were at the country club when you pulled up that stick-up. Dr. Henshaw, Lawyer Marshy, and Mr. Davis, who owns the Golden Rule department store. And Dr. Henshaw's maid phoned and said there was a rush call out here. They put 2 and 2 together and called me at headquarters.
Well, I'm afraid they're going to be surprised.
Oh, yeah? We'll see who's surprised. The job was pulled by a mob of 4. The 4th guy was a little slow on the getaway. As he was leaving, he saw a pendant that Mrs. Henshaw was wearing and stopped to rip it off. By the time he got to the door, the steward had a chance to get the gun out of his desk, and he winged this 4th guy in the leg. So naturally, he'd be needing a doctor.
And so these 3 wise guys think they can pin it on us. Chief, you may not know it, but you've seen a miracle happen tonight.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No?
We'll find out. It's okay now, Chief.
What's okay, Wilson?
We got here just in time.
Where's the doc?
Oh, he's upstairs. And you ought to see the little rascal who caused all this commotion.
This ought to be good, Bauer.
Yeah.
I don't see what's so funny.
You should have seen him, Chief. Sweet as a lamb.
Huh? Didn't he make any fuss?
Not a single yip out of him.
Did he pull any rough stuff?
Only grabbed hold of my finger.
Wilson, you've been drinking. Now pull yourself together. Listen carefully. What did he say? Will he talk?
Well, in a year, maybe. You can't expect too much.
Wilson, what are you talking about?
The baby, of course.
Did you say a baby?
That's what he said. I heard him.
Well, of flat-footed.
Now, Chief, watch your language. There's a child in the house.
I was going to kiss him, but Dr. Henshaw said I might give him germs.
Did you hear that, Bauer? It's a him.
Yeah, is it not wonderful and in my stable already?
Listen. Will you be listening to him now? With a pair of lungs like those, there's no telling what he'll make of himself in the world. And now, Chief, if you put that gun down, I'll be on my way upstairs.
I think I'll go with you.
Oh, sure, and why not now? And you know, once the little darling sets his eyes on my beaming countenance, he'll be nothing but smiles. And while I'm at it, Chief, I'm going to ask him what he was doing at the country club tonight. You know, he's much too young to be doing gallivanting. So you see, gentlemen, there was Mary, Joseph, and the baby in that stable in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There were the doctor, the lawyer, and the merchant, 3 very wise and good men. And though they'd made quite a mistake, the police were there, too. Shepherds of the law, you might call them. In many ways, it was like the story of that other Bethlehem. And as I said before, there was even a star.
A star?
Oh, yes. Remember I said the policemen were trailing a stolen pendant?
Yes.
Well, that pendant was a star sapphire. And that's what the wise men and the shepherds were looking for when they arrived at Papa Bauer's stable.
Well, star sapphire. Think of that.
And did these wise men of yours bring gifts?
Yes, sir. The merchant, Mr. Davis, brought clothes for the baby from his store, dressed him and warm. And the doctor gave Mary and Joe a big Christmas dinner, brought it all the way out to Papa Bauer's. Mike was there and half the police force.
And what about the lawyer?
Oh, he did his part. He made all the arrangements for Mary and the baby to go to her folks in St. Louis, in real style.
What do you think of that?
What do I think of it? I think it's one of the most heartwarming stories I ever heard. I think it calls for a drink.
Right, and you must join us, waiter. What do you say to some hot Christmas toddies?
You're very kind, sir, but I must ask you to excuse me.
Nonsense. Your story has turned what promised to be a long, dreary evening into a most enjoyable one. An evening I shall never forget. Hey, Gordon?
I should say so. This is the first Christmas Eve in years that I haven't felt,
Lonely is the word you're looking for, Gordon.
Yes, that's it. Lonely.
If I may say so, gentlemen, there's never any need for loneliness, and especially at Christmas time. There's a cure for loneliness, and it's very simple. All you have to do is to find someone who is poor and unhappy, and bring them the warmth of charity and understanding. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to attend to my duties.
You know, Townsend, there's something strange about that fellow.
Yes, but I did enjoy his story.
Townsend, maybe there's more to Christmas than we thought. Possibly we've built a shell around us, a shell through which the good things, the kind things can't get through.
Yes, and it took a waiter to show it to us.
Well, Townsend, I wonder what that fellow's doing about those toddies. I'd better ring.
Now, why do you suppose he wouldn't have a Christmas toddy with us?
Oh, I don't know. Probably
Yes, gentlemen, did you ring?
Oh, it's you, Tom.
Why, yes, Mr. Gordon. Naturally.
Oh, I thought you were off tonight, Tom.
Oh, no, sir. Not on Christmas Eve.
Well, then why did you have that other man wait on us?
Other man? What other man?
Why, the man who just left us. The man we've been talking to.
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir. My station is just outside the door. Aside from you 2 gentlemen, I've seen no one enter or leave this room.
What?
That's right, sir. And I can assure you that we have no extra waiters on tonight.
No extra waiters? What?
Wait, Gordon. All right, Tom.
please bring us 3 hot toddies?
Did you say 3, sir?
Yes, Tom. 3. 1 for Mr. Gordon, 1 for me, and 1 for the, shall we say, the spirit of Christmas.
This is Victor Jory, friends. I do hope you've enjoyed our Christmas play. And you know this Christmas is unusual because Americans will observe Christmas this year in many, many parts of the world in many different ways. Yes, in many different ways. As one small voice in the never-to-be-stilled spirit of Christmas, I want to express you the deep and sincere holiday wishes of all of us who bring you Vic's Matinee Theater. Our producers, our cast, our director, our writers, and our technical men, Mr. Warno and his orchestra, and our sponsor, Vic's. To you, our audience, we say thanks for your many expressions of appreciation for our efforts, the knowledge that you're enjoying our productions, and to your relatives in the service of our country who can't be with you tomorrow, well, God bless them and bring them back safely for another Christmas. Thank you, and a very Merry Christmas.
Today's play was by David Victor and Herbert Little, Jr. and was based on an original story by Charles Tazwell. It was directed by Richard Sanville. Next Sunday, Vic's Matinee Theater will bring you the story of a woman who couldn't spare the time for love and a man who changed her mind. The gay, romantic Paramount comedy in which Claudette Colbert and Fred McMurray made such a delightful couple. Next week, No Time for Love, starring Victor Jory. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That best wish is peace on earth. Much of Reynolds' expanding aluminum production now goes to the defense of the nation, the defense of our free world. But the ultimate aim is peace, always. And the great destiny of light, strong, rust-proof Reynolds aluminum lies in peaceful progress. The Reynolds Metals Company looks forward to the day when all aluminum production can be turned to constructive uses. In a future when the inspired hope of Christmas shall be realized, and on earth, peace, goodwill toward men.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Are you gathered up close to your radio? If you're not, then hurry, because you know this is the time for Jonathan Thomas, and you'll want to learn if he's kept his promise to rescue Santa, who was stolen away by the bad Squibbobliums, and it wasn't in play. Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon said not to worry, that they'd find him soon, and they and Gorgonzola the horse have been doing all that they can, of course. They've traveled along a dangerous road, past the Dragon's Cave and the home of the Toad, and oh my goodness, they've had so much trouble because of a kettle that was set to bubble by the very worst kind of a wicked old witch who rules o'er the land of Rumplestitch. You see, when a witch prepares her brew, there's no telling what'll happen to you. And she caused Jonathan Thomas to fall asleep as they passed through the nightmare forest deep. But quick as a wink, there appeared on the scene their very good friend, the Fairy Queen. And he soon woke up, for she knew the charm. She's always trying to keep them from harm. And the wicked old witch was as mad as could be, and said, I'll get them yet, you wait and see. But the travelers brave set out once more, when suddenly they heard an awful roar. 'Twas only a lion who asked them to dine when they named him Jigraph, which he thought was fine. And he gave them a gift. 'Twas a box of growls to frighten the witch and give her the howls. So they thanked him kindly and hurried away because it was getting very late in the day. At last, being tired, they thought 'twould be wise if they sat down to rest. And then they got a surprise, for they sat right down on the Elf King's home and broke all to pieces his fairy throne. The Elf King was as angry could be, and said, "For this damage you'll have to pay me." Just then, the old witch, mad as any old thing, came for Jonathan Thomas and the little Elf King. But they opened the box and let out a growl, and she soon flew away with a dreadful howl. And then the Elf King said, "It's quite plain to me. I owe you my life, and here is a key to open the door in the wall of doors. And then, what's more, I'll give you my wish to take you through, and that applies to both you and you. And the road you travel, which you must because you must find Santa Claus and the kidnapping mystery unravel." So they found the door as the Elf King said, and they were very careful to use their head, but they were filled with dread as they all went in. But then, here's where the story begins again.
Oh, Mr. Man in the Moon, if you please. This is the funniest place I ever saw.
That's a tremendous fibber, Jonathan Thomas, if I ever heard one. This place isn't the least bit funny.
Bit funny?
I didn't mean that it was funny. Like, funny things are funny, but like unfunny things are sometimes funny.
Sometimes funny.
That's very complicated, Jonathan Thomas. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make 1 cent, and it takes 5 cents to make a nickel.
To make a nickel.
Oh, my goodness gracious to Jimmy Crickets. Who on earth is mocking me?
Mocking me?
Maybe it's only a nickel.
Maybe it is.
Oh, we must have come in the wrong door, but it's too late now because the door is locked and we can't get out.
Oh, look, Mr. Man in the Moon. Somebody's coming.
Huh?
Maybe it's a parade. Or maybe soldiers.
Oh, flubdudge. It is soldiers. 3 of them. And they're probably coming to arrest us. Oh, what shall we do? Whatever shall we do? Whatever shall we do?
We better hide.
Oh,
Maybe.
it's too late now. Here they are.
Company, halt. 1, 2, and 2 is 4. Add 4 more and it equals 8. So stop right now before it's too late.
Hey, who are you?
Yes, who are you?
I'm me.
I'm myself.
And I'm I. We're me and myself and I. And we'd like some strawberry pie. With plenty of jam and a slice of ham and bread that is made out of rye.
Jiminy Crickets! What a silly thing to say.
Yet, what a silly thing to say.
Silly is as silly does.
What's sillier than silly is a bear named Gus?
Who is locked in jail without any bail, and we had to do it because...
Oh, did you say Gus?
Maybe he's deaf.
He looks like a thief.
We'd better tell the chief.
Gus is my teddy bear, and he ran away. Have you got him?
He's safe and sound.
With bars all around.
And gagged with plum pudding till he can't make a sound.
Oh, did you hear what they said, Mr. Man in the Moon? They got Gus. They got Gus.
That's wonderful, but where in the world are we? That's what I'd like to know.
Why don't you guess?
Before we confess.
And if you guess right, we'll quickly say yes.
We don't know where we are.
Well, imagine that.
Well, by my hat.
They don't know where they're at.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Why, this is the kingdom without any malice.
It's the very good land of our Queen Alice.
There isn't a rhyme, but I'll make up a line which ends with the word Squoosh-Wallis.
Oh, you mean Alice through the looking glass.
The answer is yes.
How did you guess?
You're very smart, we'll have to confess.
Oh, no wonder everything is made out of looking glasses.
Well, then, for gracious sakes, if this is the land of the looking glass, tell us where to find the Queen.
The Queen isn't lost.
Nobody said she was.
Then why should you find her?
Oh, for goodness sakes, to Jiminy Cricket, you're driving me crazy. We don't want to find her.
You couldn't anyway, 'cause she's already found.
You're getting me so sore I'll rip and roar and flubdudge. We should like to see Queen Alice.
Yes, we should like to see Queen Alice, 'cause I want to find God.
So, please don't tease and tell us how to go about it.
You don't have to go about it. Just go straight down the road.
Till you come to a toad with a code in his head.
Of course, on your horse. That's what me and myself said. Then you'll find a door.
And what's more?
You should rap, and that adds up to 4.
Oh, what's the door for?
It's the door to the palace.
Of good Queen Alice.
There isn't a rhyme, but I'll make up a line which ends with the word Squoosh-Wallis.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Gee up, Gorgonzola. Come on. Oh, well, we're off to see Alice in Alice's palace, for she was a very good queen. The best in the land, I understand, and not in the least bit mean. Oh, we're off to see Alice in Alice's palace. We're off to Alice's palace.
So down the road they went, as quick as if they'd been sent, to the palace of Alice, the looking-glass queen, who always is nice and never is mean. So clippity-clop and clippity-clop, till pretty soon they came to a stop, and there was a wall that was very tall, and only one door to go through. So quickly, of course, they climbed off the horse, and before you could count up to 2, they knocked and knocked, but the door was locked.
Maybe nobody's home. Maybe.
Fiddlesticks, Jonathan Thomas. If nobody's home, then somebody must be there. Knock once more.
Oh, somebody's coming.
No admittance until the second Tuesday of next week. Well, for goodness sakes alive.
That wasn't a nice thing to do. People shouldn't ever slam doors in people's faces.
Not again, Jonathan Thomas. We'll keep right on knocking until somebody does let us in. Hey. Goodness gracious.
Oh. Look, the man in the moon. It's a big fog.
What are you trying to do? Break the door down?
Oh, no, sir. If you please. We're just knocking. But no one will answer the door.
Well, now, what's it been asking?
What's been asking, if you please?
Why the door? The questions come first, the answers come after. So what did the door ask you?
It didn't ask me anything.
Then why do you wish it answered if it didn't ask anything?
I've only been knocking at the door. The door don't say anything.
Sometimes they do. They say, keep out. This strictly means you. Oh, for gracious sakes. And you shouldn't go around knocking on doors. Either. If you can't say anything good about them, then keep still. What did this door ever do to you?
Why, nothing, of course.
Well, then, you leave it alone, and it'll leave you alone. It's as easy as subtracting 9 from 8.
Well,
Stop that knocking, you little zany. Whatever it is, we don't want it. So go blow and never come back. Or it wouldn't surprise me if you don't get a whack. For I am Napoleon the Great and Henry number 8. And I much prefer the latter. And I'm not at all sad. No. But I am a little bit mad. Mad. I am the Mad Hatter.
Well, now, what next is going to happen? Things haven't been bad enough without going to a funny place like the Looking Glass Land, where frogs talk and where the Mad Hatter lives. Oh, my goodness. I wonder what'll happen next. But maybe Queen Alice will be very nice to Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon, and I certainly hope so, because Christmas isn't very far off, and they've just got to find Santa Claus in time. So don't forget to listen to the next story of Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon, will you? I won't.
You are listening to Chesterton Radio at chestertonradio.com.